Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm all set to count down this week's 40 most played country records in the USA as they're compiled by Mediabase 24/7 for the week ending May 2nd, 2026. Before I get started counting down this week's biggest hits, let's take a look back at last week's top three. Number three was Days Like These by Luke Combs. Number two was Sleepless in a Hotel Room, also by Luke. And the number one song last week was What He'll Never Have by Dylan Scott. Now, will Dylan have another week at number one, or will that be something he'll never have? Let's find out 39 hits from now. We'll get the countdown started with the first of two debuts. It's a brand new one from Ashley Cook. Her last time on the chart was back in 2024 when she went all the way to number one with Your Place. Her second top 40 hit is called The Hell You Are. Holding down the number 39 spot for a second week is Chase Matthew and Holding It Down. Here's a song that debuted 3 weeks ago, fell out for 2 weeks. This week it re-enters at number 38, the latest by Russell Dickerson, called Worth Your While. And here's her second debut, coming in at number 37. It's the follow-up to his recent number one hit, House Again. Here's Hudson Westbrook with his second top 40 hit, Painted You Pretty. And with two debuts and one re-entry, we say goodbye to three droppers. Falling out this week, Amen, Ain't a Bad Life, and After Midnight. On with the countdown, up 2 spots to number 36 is Steven Wilson Jr. with Gary. Up 5 notches to number 35, it's Blake Shelton with Let Him In Anyway. Up 2 spots to number 34, Shane Prophet with Long Live Country. Holding steady at number 33 is Graylin James with his first chart hit, Water at a Wedding. At number 32 again this week, it's Kelsey Hart with Fireworks. Up 6 notches to number 31, Dan and Shay with Say So. In her 10th week in the countdown, she's up 4 notches to number 30, Alexandra Kay with Straight for the Heart. Up 6 notches to number 29 is Zach John King with Get to Drinking. That song and Dan and Shay Say So tied for this week's biggest mover. Slipping back one to number 28, Dustin Lynch with Easy to Love. At number 27, up 2 spots, Lauren Elena and Chase Matthew with All My Exes. Up 4 notches to 26, Luke Bryan with Country and She Knows It. At number 25, moving up 3 spots, John Party with Boots Off. At number 24, up 2 spots, John Morgan with Kid Myself. At number 23, up a notch is Low Cash with Wrong Hearts. Up 3 notches to 22, Zach Top with South of Sanity. At number 21, up a notch, George Burge and Luke Bryan with Ride, Ride, Ride. In his 11th week in the countdown, he spent the second week at number 20, Hardy, along with Eric Church, Morgan Wallen, and Tim McGraw with MacArthur. Up 4 notches to 19, here's Kane Brown with Woman. At number 18, up a notch, Bailey Zimmerman with Chevy Silverado. Up 4 notches to number 17, again it's Morgan Wallen with Don't We. Up 2 spots to number 16, Vincent Mason with Wish You Well. Slipping back one to number 15, his 35th week on the chart, Morgan Wallen and Post Malone with I Ain't Coming Back. Number 14, up 2 spots, is Jason Aldean with Don't Tell on Me. At number 13, up 2 spots, Corey Kent and Cole Wetzel, called Rocky Mountain Low. Slipping back one to number 12, Chris Janson and Me and a Beer. Here's a song that's been on the chart the longest at 43 weeks. Hit number one last week. This week it's down to number 11, Dylan Scott with What He'll Never Have. Right with the first of the 10 biggest hits, here's Megan Moroney, up 2 spots to number 10, scoring her fourth top 10 hit with Beautiful Things. And jumping 4 spots from number 13 to number 9 as he scores his second top 10 hit, Josh Ross and Hate How You Look. At number 8, up a notch, is Ella Langley with Be Her. At number 7, up a notch, Jordan Davis with Turn This Truck Around. Down 2 spots from number 4 to number 6 is Ella Langley, her former number 1, called Choosing Texas. At number 5, up 2 spots, is Riley Green and Change My Mind. At number 4, up 2 spots, Tucker Wetmore with Brunette. Up 2 to number 3, Cody Johnson with The Fall. And for the fourth week in a row, at number 2 is Luke Combs with Sleepless in a Hotel Room. And the new number one song in country music this week took 23 weeks to get here. This becomes his 25th number one country hit. It's Luke Combs with Days Like These. And that gives Luke the top 2 songs in country music, first time in chart history that has happened. Well, that is our countdown of the 40 most played country records of the week. I'm Chris. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, everybody.